I feel like I corrupted him because I feel like at the end of the day, I still took his virginity. That's just what it is.
I survived a plane
I
crash.
accidentally killed my mother.
I can't stop cheating on my husband.
I am sexually attracted to clowns.
I like dressing up as a baby.
My wife doesn't know I'm gay.
I'm attracted to violent criminals.
I can't stop eating toilet paper.
I was an alcoholic by the age of 10.
If anyone ever found out,
I just couldn't stop myself.
I'd probably go to jail.
I can't hold
It only happens when I sleep.
I used to drink with my father.
My leg was scorching and on
What's up with
fire.
our
I
brother?
have no regrets.
Welcome to Strange Lives. I'm your host, Priest Porfirio, here with my special co-host, Denise Michelle.
Thanks for having me, Priest. I'm looking forward to a very interesting conversation. What's on the agenda for today?
Well, we often hear stories of aliens, ghosts, and other paranormal encounters, but today's guest has something a little different for us. She says that not only did she meet her guardian angel, but she has a sexual relationship with him as well.
Wait, a sexual relationship with her guardian angel?
I have so many questions.
Yeah, I have several, just right off the top.
Let's get into it. We do have our guest on the line. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for being on our show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit about the story that you submitted to us?
Yeah, that was an interesting experience I had this year. I had some kind of like a series of just unfortunate events that occurred. And someone came into my life and later on revealed himself as being connected to God here on a mission to help me. Claimed he was a guardian angel of mine. I did have some people look into it that are experts in this type of thing, spiritual connections. And they did confirm that he is. Just other things to let me know that he is.
How is it that you first met him? How did he come into your life?
Just appeared. It was just, that's just how it is. I don't know how he found me or anything like that, but he just appeared at the moment that I needed that. I pretty much just got mugged in the middle of the night and I got stranded. So I didn't have anything. I was pretty much in a freeze to death. I wasn't sure what to do. I didn't know where I was. And this was back in Utah. So in Utah, there's not that much. It's not as densely populated as somewhere like New York City where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're stranded out there, you're screwed. And he just appeared out of nowhere and escorted me to safety and didn't really say much, knew exactly what I needed and just decided, I don't know how he had all this unlimited time, but he stayed with me and started trying to help me through my issues of like why I was even out there late at night. I'm like a social butterfly, so I like to go out and meet new people. And when I did meet these new people, they lured me somewhere so they could take advantage of me.
What a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah, it was pretty bad out there. There's a really big crime wave going on in Salt Lake City. So at that time, I was super unaware. Just literally saw me, approached me. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just so out of my mind because I was so cold. It was like deep winter at that point, like maybe the end of February, early March, without a coat and everything. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Phone, all that stuff, money, everything was taken.
To you, when you first saw him, did he appear to you as an ethereal being or was this flesh and blood?
Yeah, and that's why I'm curious to know why it's so unclear, because I didn't see anyone walk up to me or hear that. I'm very hypervigilant, so I always notice when someone's coming from a distance. It doesn't matter. And he just appeared by my side, and that was interesting to me because he just appeared by my side and just started hugging me. And I just felt that, and I didn't really feel like this presence yet. Just felt this feeling, and it's like, are you okay? And I was like, do you need a coat? It's just the rest is history. So he just started talking to me, and not too long after that, he admitted to me that's his purpose. That's why he's here. That's what he's going to do for me until I don't need him anymore. So that was definitely interesting how he just appeared as a flesh and blood person, but at first it wasn't because I didn't really I felt more the warmth of his hug than the actual feeling of a body behind me.
That was going to be my question. I was curious if, given what you had just gone through, was his presence startling to you, or were you afraid?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was not even scared at one moment, and I already knew I was safe. It was just natural. I don't know how to explain it. That's so interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, he just appeared just like that. And
Usually after going through something like that and then a stranger coming up to you, normally your first reaction would be to be scared, but to immediately feel comforted by that. That's a very interesting aspect to it.
yeah, and I've noticed people, like, when things happen like that, there's always someone around. There was no one around. So I would have noticed. I would have heard footsteps
Right.
in the pavement, snapping tree stems or leaves or things like that. So it's just interesting that made it all the way up to me. I was just sitting down on the ground, just feeling upset about that. And oh my gosh, how could I let this happen? And gosh, why are there no policemen around and things like that? And yeah, it just appeared.
So saved you from the freezing cold, the danger that you had went through. How did things progress after that?
He just said that he didn't want to leave my side ever, and he just wanted to be around me whenever I would leave my home.
And a relationship began from there?
Not exactly right away, maybe like a couple days after. He said, hey, by the way, I really like you. I've noticed you for years, and I'm like you for years. And so he made sure that I was comfortable being with him first before he made it clear, like, yes, that's really what I am to you. Because when he said that to me the first night, I was skeptical and just thinking, oh, he's just saying that like loosely as a term.
I was thinking the same thing. I guess if somebody had said that to me, my initial reaction would be like, get out of here, some sort of not being serious, just given the fact that you have been so comforted after a situation that you've been through. Were you in a relationship, or were you single in this time in your life?
I was, and that's why it was not a problem that he propositioned that to me. First I said, no, I'm not sure, but I was like, okay. That was days after. I'm not too sure why he wouldn't even ask me things like that when he knows what his position was. And I just feel like he was just trying to having male urges, but he's never really just demonstrated that. And also the way he was in my life, it's just, he wasn't trying to be like a boyfriend figure. He was just more trying to be more of like a protective, almost like a bodyguard. So I was having trouble with people in my neighborhood. So he was always watching and being present and accompanying me to things I needed to do and just making sure I was just always accompanied by him. And that's why I was wondering, I was like, how does he have all this unlimited time?
Right. How did he stay in your life and communicate with you? Would he just show up all the time?
Yeah, he would just show up. He would show up when he would disappear, he would be specific about when he would see me again, when or where he would want to see me again.
So it wasn't like he was calling you or anything, right? He would always just appear.
No, he was calling me. He has a phone. He's, touched his phone. Yeah.
Yeah. But, we think of guardian angels as these angels and these beings. And I'm just trying to flesh out. He just looked like a normal man when he had a phone, right?
Yeah, he didn't really quite look like a normal man, though. He definitely looked a little more clean cut than an average guy.
Okay.
And he had this kind of like glow to him. Definitely had that just quintessential guardian angel kind of stature and look. So that's what I noticed, because I was like, I've never seen anyone that looks like him before, dressed like him, things like that.
Were you immediately attracted to him?
I guess it wasn't immediate because I was like, when I met him, but then once I started feeling better, I was, yeah.
So it did eventually progress to being a romantic relationship, right?
Yes, it did.
And who initiated that? Was that you or was that him?
It was him. He really desired that. That was his biggest desire. He'd get very frustrated with me when I would try to not admit that I liked him and things like that. And he knew right away. I just wanted to be very proper and formal. I just met this guy and he helped me out, did me a solid. So let's not push the envelope here. So that was definitely his idea. He just always wanted that, and he still does want that. I'm the one who pushed him out of my life because I wasn't ready for that kind of lifestyle. I didn't know what kind of future that was. And also the way it was with him, he was just so into like, okay, now I have full control over you. Also, he'd just disappear a lot and I wouldn't be able to find him, and it would be very interesting. And then he'd just appear out of nowhere and no one would know where he is. So if that's what that is, which I just was starting to see more and more signs. I couldn't handle it. It was just too much. I can't handle that.
In the beginning, when he was wanting this romantic relationship with you and he was pushing for that, was there ever a point where you didn't believe him or you didn't trust him and thought this is just a man and not a guardian angel as he says he is?
Yeah, I thought that too. There were certain things that about him It's just interesting. I've been always very involved with religion, deity, my entire life. I was very involved with the Catholic Church before I converted to Mormonism, and I got very involved with the Mormon Church. So I'm very I know a lot about this. And the time I was with the Catholic Church, and I was just having a private meeting with one of the clergy members and talking about just the challenge I was facing. And she told me specifically that I will meet my guardian angel sometime in my youth. She described him to me and certain characteristics that are very unique. And she said, he's going to have those. And if you meet a man with those characteristics, then you'll know. And he had those characteristics. And when I found out about that, that immediately rang that bell in my head. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is real.
Yeah, this is real. This is him.
Yep. Yeah, he's very assertive. He's very much into making sure I'm safe. He doesn't really like me being so social and out there and about. He just thinks that it's just not the environment. He doesn't really like what's going on in the world right now. Obviously, he's straight edge and he doesn't really like this modern society.
Right.
Does he provide for you? Does he provide things financially or?
At the time he was, yes, he was. I'm not sure how he was able to, but he had normal items like cash or cards or transportation or his phone, his place. Very mysterious place he had, but he had a condo.
Did he tell you that he was a virgin? Or?
Yes, he did. He did tell me that.
Knowing that he's your guardian angel and knowing that he's a virgin, did you have any hesitation, or was it just like, we're ready for it? Were you nervous or scared?
Yes, I had immense levels of guilt even before it got to that level, because I'm pretty sure he sensed that I was attracted. So that was hard for me to prevent it from happening. I did try very hard to prevent it, but he was just insisting on it. He pretty much begged me for several days. So I finally caved and allowed him that, or allowed us, I should say, because we both wanted that. And he was nervous. I saw the guilt on his face as well. He felt real guilty, but that experience, I just can't explain it. It was definitely divine, that feeling of him, someone like that kind of soul, or I'm not even sure if they have souls. I'm not too sure what an angel truly is, but I know they're similar to us. But I felt like that. I felt that, and it felt very cosmic, very light. I don't know. It's just something that doesn't happen normally.
How was the act itself? Was it completely different than anybody or anything else you've ever experienced? Or was it just normal sex? Was there something completely different about it?
Yeah, it was completely different. Just the feeling, just intense euphoria that I've never felt before ever. And then also the way he was doing that to me. It seemed more like he wanted to touch my soul and satisfy a sexual desire. It was definitely not your average.
Was it to satisfy a sexual desire in him or in you or in both of you?
I'm not too sure for him, but for me, that's what it was. It's very attractive. And he was protecting me. He's always been respectful.
Did the sexual relationship continue after that, or was it just that one time?
No, it did. Yes, it did. Several other times. I did try to stop it, though. I asked him, please, I'm part of the church. I can't do this. We're not supposed to even do this anyway. This is breaking covenants for me, angel code for you. We just can't do this. And he would just find a way to tell me that it's not that it's okay, but it's what we want.
Did you ever ask him what effect this would have on him as far as angel code?
I did not. I just assumed that he would have problems.
How long did this relationship last?
Several months, until I decided I didn't want to see him again. I made it impossible for him to find me. I changed my habits. I changed the places I frequented. And I actually did even eventually leave Utah. I moved back to New York City, where I'm from. And there was just a whole other host of issues that were going on at the same time, too, that they weren't improving. He was doing his best to improve them, but it was not improving. I was doing my best. There was just a whole bunch of other things that were just chasing me out of Salt Lake with some residents there. There's a huge crime wave going on, and it was just becoming incredibly dangerous, and that's why he even appeared.
But you haven't seen him since you've been back to New York.
I heard that he was definitely trying to locate me. So mutual friends definitely let me know that, because at the time I was like, please don't let him know where I am. He definitely would like to locate me, or at least let him see me, but I have not spoken to him. Obviously, I have his number. I've actually changed my phone number. I got a new line. So I'm not sure if I'm ready to completely disconnect the old phone number.
If you can elaborate a little bit, how does this work? Now that the relationship has ended and you've separated yourself from him, does he still remain your guardian angel? Is he reassigned? Do you get a new guardian angel? How does that work?
I'm not too sure. I honestly believe that when they break code like that, I will get a reassignment. However, I know that I'm pretty sure that he's still in my assignment right now, but I'm not too sure.
My concern, if he's away and you're here now, you've broken up from him, I feel like we all need a guardian angel. We all need to make sure that something out there is looking out for us. So that's where my mind goes to is, where's your guardian angel now? Is somebody watching out for you?
I think that it's definitely still his assignment. So it's just complicated because I'm the one trying to disappear now.
Right.
That's what I was wondering. What if you find yourself in a situation where you need help again? Is it he will help you and then seeing him again may get some old feelings or thoughts of the past? I was curious about that too. I don't want you to ever be in a situation again where you need a guardian angel, but I would like to know that if you were, like, you're covered.
There's certainly not a book or rules to know where to go from at this point.
There really isn't. That's why I'm just continuing praying every day and trying to keep my covenants, because it's pretty wild out there, and not all the time you can be saved. Not all the time help can get there as soon as you need it. So that's why I was already making sure that I was always in a good situation. I would never really put myself in bad situations. That one was unavoidable. I left with the wrong people, and that happens to the best of us sometimes. You never know what someone's plotting from the moment they meet you. So that was a risk there.
Have you spoken to anybody else in the church or any other religious person about this? Just to get some guidance from them.
No, I haven't, because I pretty much broke a covenant, and I told him not to before that happened. It's called the law of chastity, and it's supposed to be chaste until I'm married. And that's what was really preventing me from engaging in that behavior with him, because he knows that about me, a Latter-day Saint. So he knows what is required and asked of me. I'm not sure how he already just knew that, because he's not one. But yeah, this definitely would not be something I should discuss without expecting consequences, because there are major consequences for that one specifically. It's a major covenant. It's its own specific law. I think 3 laws we have.
Do you know, as a guardian angel, if he's non-denominational or how that works?
Yes, he claims that he has a general Christian background. I don't know how this works, but that's what he said his family is from. When he was trying to tell me vaguely about his parents, even the way that their lifestyle was, it definitely did not sound like something of this earth. It did not sound like the lifestyle of the average human beings. So that was interesting to me.
Are you able to share a little bit of that? Because that's something I had not even considered, is the fact that he is errant.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, I never considered where guardian angels come from. They're just there. They're a being.
He allegedly has parents. He always used to talk about them, but I've never met them. He said that they wanted to meet me. So that's interesting that they were aware of me, because he did want a label on it. He was referring to me as his girlfriend. He would always talk about when he was growing up and the things his dad would do with him. And it would always be like learning survival skills for like combat, though. Things like firing a gun, building a fire, digging a trench, things like that. So that was like interesting to me. And I was wondering where was the time for him to get closer to God, because he has a very deep understanding of deity and commandments and covenants and things like that. So I'm wondering, okay, how would he naturally just know all this stuff if he's out there building fires or collecting firewood, things like that? It's just mysterious to me.
Do you think that a guardian angel is a spiritual being, or do you think that it is a person, maybe a human, that goes through their normal life and then at some point is called upon or is chosen to be a guardian angel?
I'm not too sure. I feel like it's a mixture of that, and I feel like some of them are specifically just in the spirit form, but I know that a handful of them are physical. They can become physical, but I don't know like why or how long that's for. But most of them can become physical and interact with this world. It's very interesting, but I did hear that sometimes people, they're born human, but then they become called upon before death. But I've just heard of that. I've never heard any testimony or names or things like that that proves that could have happened.
Yeah, I think that this opens up so many questions that I hadn't considered before, which is why I was so fascinated by the subject. Again, because I think that in general, a lot of people just think of guardian angels and angels, just these spiritual beings that are out there and you don't see them, you can't interact with them. So to hear your story and have somebody who's here in the flesh and they have a whole life and a whole story, I think that's really an interesting side that a lot of people had never considered before.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, and I feel blessed to even have met him because not everyone gets to meet their guardian. It's different. It's just, he has different aura. He has certain abilities. His vision, his hearing, it's just much better than mine or most people. And I've got really great vision and hearing. I needed that for when I was a lifeguard. So I definitely have that. And his is 10 times better.
As far as his abilities, what's something that you saw which was completely extraordinary?
Just him being able to see things happening from very far away that I wouldn't even have seen. So things like that, he would just always be like 3 steps ahead to just move me away from any type of danger. So that saved me a lot of time. So I wouldn't have to deal with things like that, like moving objects or things like that.
But if he did find you and he came back into your life and wanted a relationship with you,
I wouldn't be surprised because that's what he desires. I would wonder how he would have found me again, but I wouldn't be too shocked.
is that something that you would entertain in any type of way of saying, okay, I will only be in a relationship with you if we did this or this, or had some kind of boundaries or barriers?
I just don't know because I'm not sure like what kind of future that would have for me, especially with the disappearing part, like just completely not a trace. Very bizarre. He would disappear like for maybe an hour to half a day, and you'd be in a situation where I'm not sure where he is.
That doesn't feel very secure in a relationship.
It's just, if what he's saying is true, it's that I have to expect that because that's just not how it goes. He's not supposed to be with me full time like that at all. He's supposed to just be observant. It's not really like a companionship role. Not too sure exactly what their duties are, but I know their duty is not full time, 24 round the clock protection. I know it's more like in moments where it's starting to surmount and then they come closer, that assist.
Do you think a person has more than one guardian angel? Do you think that when he's not there, there's another guardian angel watching over you?
Yes, I think so. I do think that. I do know that there's several angels. I believe that they're, from what, been observed, because I know they're immortal or something like that. They're like for sure 300 named. I do know that that's their whole team. I do feel like there are more than one assigned to a person. I just don't know like at any given time, is there 2 or is it just 1 at a time? But I know that just with the seasons of life, I feel like you'll get a new assignment. So that's why I'm not too concerned about the angel misconduct. But
Do you think this experience will impact future relationships? Are you dating someone now?
yes, I am. I'm not really committed, but I am just trying to take it easy just because of everything I've gone through this year. And then also with my career choice, it's just hectic for me. I do feel like this will impact me spiritually in the future. I feel like I was corrupted. We all know that angels can go rogue. So when it goes rogue, it's really bad.
Being in this relationship with him, do you feel that you've sinned or that you corrupted him in any way? Yeah. Do you feel that he was really the one pushing for this?
I feel like I corrupted him because I feel like at the end of the day, I still took his virginity. That's just what it is.
I don't look at it like that. I am just an outsider's perspective would see if this person is a guardian angel and he has a plateau of higher truth and knowledge, the responsibility is on him. I feel in this situation, if anything, he took advantage of you. I feel like he should know, being on an elevated status, he should know how to treat a human woman. I don't know how else to phrase that, but I don't think you should feel guilty.
If anything, he's the one more in authority. You are the one who was like, I know you're my guardian angel. I don't think that this is the right thing to do. And he's pushing on that.
Yeah, and I know that their role is to also test. So maybe I failed the test. The prize It's very minor compared to, eternity and following God. Yeah, I have that kind of experience where it felt like our souls intertwined, but it's not really something that I would like to have received, and because I chose to break the covenant and also do something that's spiritually incorrect. It's just wrong.
Do you think there's any way to have a relationship with him which is not wrong, which would be, let's say, accepted by God?
It should be a friendship, like I've always asked of him. I always asked him. I said, I for sure will be your friend, but I'm not sure about being your girlfriend or wife or mother of your children. It's pretty heavy stuff there.
Is that something he's asked to be the mother of his children?
Yes, he has. He said he specifically wanted to do this with me, but how did you know this would be with me? But then I keep assuming that he's just this normal human guy. He's not. He claims to be my age. He claims to be about maybe 3 months younger than me.
Do you think he is, or do you think there's this angel age that he is?
It has to be that, unless he's new, unless he's newly created. I'm not too sure. I know that when God created angels, it was fine specifically at a specific time. So I'm not too sure. Is he really that age? If he truly is what he says he is, he's almost definitely not. Maybe that's more like of what he represents, maybe physically, someone my age. But spiritually, I don't see it. He's just wise beyond his years. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like he's in that stage of I'm learning about this world. He's got that level of confidence, like I already been around the park.
You said something earlier that he's been watching you for years or something like that. I see it is he's your guardian angel and he has been watching over you for years and just over that time fell in love with you and had these desires with you.
I see what you mean, yeah, because I'm not sure when he was assigned, and that's possibly what happened, and that's probably why he decided that enough is enough. I can't watch this anymore. I'm going to intervene.
Have you thought about what you would do if it just showed up again somehow?
I'd probably panic a little bit, wonder how he found me, but I wouldn't be upset with him at all. I know there's no, that he's not really going to be going anywhere.
How do you see yourself moving forward from this? And how do you see your life progressing forward from this, knowing that you've had this experience with him because he is your guardian angel and maybe someday he would show up? Is that something that you think about, or do you worry he's supposed to be protecting you, but now he's not?
I think he still is, because my life improved a lot since I met him. A lot of things just stopped happening that were troubling me. Another little coincidence. So I do think he's still working, because that's what he would even refer to it as sometimes. But I don't think he's going to make that mistake again and trying to be like a dominant character in my life, because it's just not appropriate.
That's the thing that stands out the most to me, for him to be so dominant. We think of guardian angels as, almost being submissive, and you wouldn't think of them coming into your life, being so pushing, being so dominant and seeking these things out with a human.
He was like that though. That's the thing. Like I said, he wouldn't leave my side for hours, sometimes days at a time. He would just hang out and just make sure to be a comfortable distance away from me. So that's why I was like, how does he have all this unlimited time? Doesn't he have needs? Doesn't he have even to go eat?
Have you seen him eat? Have you seen him do these things? Does he eat? Do guardian angels eat? Do they drink? Do they go to the bathroom?
He kind of, I don't want to say he didn't, because that sounds terrible. But he really didn't do it as frequently as I or anyone else would know. I mean, he would sometimes, but it'd be like more like as if he's playing along. It's just so funny.
Right. Interesting. Like he's playing along to make it the most normal thing for you.
Right.
I've had a similar experience in the past, but it was not as immersive as this. It was more of, I had kind of vision where an angel spoke to me, but I didn't get their face. It just was more like light and a message. But that was years and years ago. I could have, yes, I could have, because I was just way too comfortable immediately. And that's just not how I am. I'm very reserved. So for him to even have gotten that close to me the very first time, that's that. I didn't even think about that. He just embraced me. But that's not normal. That's not how I am. And
you had mentioned earlier, you said that you had some people check into him and vet him, verify that he was legit. Do you know what any of those steps were that they took to verify him?
Yes, these were some psychics, and they consulted with some of their counselors. They also have their tools that they use to look into this kind of stuff. They told me everything they've done, and they also said they prayed deeply about it for several hours and received answers and communication about him, who he is, why he's in my life, things like that. And it was directly relayed that message. I guess that is him. That's what he's in my life for, and it's not advised for me to be intimate or romantic with him at all. And it would always have some kind of chaotic results whenever we pursued that. I had to put an end to it because it was just not okay. That's just not what he's supposed to be doing for me.
Do you think there would be a time or a situation when it is okay?
Not that I know of. That's just not the kind of role he has in my life. It's similar to when you hear about a doctor and a patient. It's just never going to be appropriate. I have to stop being his patient.
Does he have a name, or is this one of these things where you don't speak his name, or you shouldn't know the angel's name?
Yes, he has a name, and I did provide that to the seers that looked into it, and they confirmed that it's his name and that he is a being.
I don't mean this in any type of funny way, but did he ever appear to you as anything other than a person? And again, I know this is so cliche and stereotypical, but did he ever have wings? Did he ever come in any other form other than a man?
No, he did not. He did not have wings ever. But he did not, physically, he did not come across as a regular human being. I noticed there was just attributes about his physical body that just were not average to someone that is human and born and raised on Earth and lives on Earth and just certain, can't really put my finger on it. He just seemed more clean cut, more in better condition than most humans, way better. And I'm not too sure how he achieved that.
Did you ever meet any of his friends or anybody else that he introduced to you as them also being a guardian angel?
No, I haven't. The only person that I was introduced to was the doorman at his apartment. That's it. He did have one mutual friend that we had who did confirm his status. And he did also say that, he also guards other people.
Interesting.
I never saw that person again, but that was odd too because that was my friend before. So I'm not sure how could he suddenly disappear. I'm just noticing that too. I didn't really see him after he confirmed that.
Right.
Unlimited time, mysterious appearances. I don't know. It's just very odd.
We often hear about paranormal and people speak of aliens and ghosts, but to have an encounter with your guardian angel is such a fascinating story that's not often told. This is exactly why I wanted you to come on our show and explain your story and let our listeners hear about that.
Definitely, yeah. I've been wanting to go more into detail. If I do decide to get back in touch with him, I'll ask him. And he'll answer if he's comfortable with more people knowing about us and what's going on. But I'm not too sure what he'll say, considering their whole mission is not to be so out there. However, there have been times throughout human history that they do make sure that their presence is known.
I would love to say if you get more answers, absolutely reach out to us. But at the same time, knowing what you've gone through, I don't want you to reach out to him when really it feels like he should be out of your life or that you're trying to keep your distance from him.
Out of my personal life.
Exactly. Out of your personal life. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that really is. I'm sorry, I'm just nervous talking about it because it's just so unique and rare. I'm not too sure why I've been chosen for that. But I think it's mostly because I've already had this very strong connection to God my entire life. And this crime wave was really intense. I feel like that kind of pushed for an occurrence for that to happen.
Just the same way that humans can get confused about relationships and people in their lives. I wonder if this was a situation of he'd been watching you all this time and having these feelings towards you. And then, of course, this crime wave happened and then this incident happened with you. And then he was there to protect you. And all of those emotions, all of those feelings just got confused into what his role was and what he should be doing and where those boundaries are.
Yeah, I think that's mainly what it was. Just because he knew that I was alone at the time and I was trying to push people out of my life just because I was having trust issues with people in my life.
I'm wondering if there's a way that he could choose or decide, like, I don't want to be a guardian angel anymore. I want to be with you on earth here as a fleshly person.
Yeah, is that even an option for him?
If he could make peace with his role in heaven or with God, would you be interested if you guys could sit down and say, this is the type of future that I want to have with you? This is sort of like a plan of how we can get there? Would you be interested in pursuing a relationship with him?
I would. Yes, I would. It's just, we've got amazing chemistry.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I can honestly say that if I had such a profound experience like that with someone that I felt so connected to, that desire to want to be in that relationship and have that love in my life versus him having to step down from whatever role he may be in. And you're going to want the best for your partner. I can imagine the type of struggle that you have. I hope that you get to a place where you are satisfied with the relationship that you have with him.
Yeah, it definitely takes two to tango because he doesn't seem like he wants to give up that position. He does enjoy that role and being able to help me in that way. He really does. So that's why I'm like confused. It's just something he has to be like rogue. Like I said, there are other angels who've gone rogue and didn't really work out, but they're still in this kind of limbo state, or are they not? So I don't know what kind of future that would be for me or him. And God forbid we have kids.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode.
Yeah, I think until something happens like that, always going to put you in a state of having to choose between this amazing chemistry that you have with him and then always feeling that you're doing wrong by your religion. Where is that balance? And we don't even know if he has that ability to step down, but it's always going to leave you in that situation if he can't.
That's just what it is, and that's what I had to accept when I decided enough is enough, and I was going to stand it up on the next date that he was setting for us. His goal was for us to live together, but I was still on the fence about it, and he just had no way to find me because I had to really just disconnect the phone at the time. And
we do wish you the best going forward because this is definitely a difficult situation.
Yeah, and you definitely have to let us know if you get back into contact with him. But also on the flip side, I wish you the best in the current relationship. I want you to be able to grow and move away from this if that's what you want, or lean into it. I hope you're happy either way.
He's a guardian angel, but at the same time, he's an ex, right? And somehow you have to push him away and not let that affect your relationships going forward.
that's definitely one of my concerns because and this pains me to say, during this time, endowment ceremony was missed because I was dealing with the just cognitive dissonance of knowing that I was involved with him in that way. And I felt even unworthy to complete my own ceremony. So I let all these obstacles pile up and I was not able to complete my ceremony. So that's my main concern. Will I be able to complete my endowment ceremony? Will my life even be in an alignment with that anymore? Considering how horrible I feel about this and how I even had to break things off with him.
I think you really have no choice but to break things off with him to go forward and to be able to move forward. Because as long as he's in your life, it's always going to have that attachment and that pull back to him.
Yes, that's true.
It does not sound like it's an easy situation to be in. I want to thank you so much for being on our show today and for sharing your story with us and with our listeners. Again, I think this opens up a lot of questions. It definitely opens up a deeper conversation about guardian angels and things that a lot of people hadn't thought of before. So thank you so much.
Have a good rest of your weekend, lady.
All right. If you would like for me to come back on your show, maybe even with him.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be great.
And that would absolutely be amazing. But at the same time, what's most important is your life. If things work out and he's back in your life and you're happy about that, great. We would love to know about that and have you both on our show. But if you're always at the point where you're wanting to push him away, I don't want you to ever feel like you need to reach out to him to bring him into this, because what matters the most is your life and your ability to have an amazing life.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, he did improve my life. I was just more being like that stubborn modern woman who's, I don't need you around, even though you're helping a lot. So I do think it would be in my best interest to let him back in my life, but I have to have those clear cut boundaries because does both spiritually for a long time. I don't know. I also want to consult with Bishop and people like that about it, but I'm just still scared to bring attention because there are consequences in the Church of Christ, of Jesus Christ,
Yeah, I do think that you have to be careful about who you tell this to, especially in the church. I I hate to say this, but there's often a lot of people in the church or the church itself, which can be very judgmental.
Yeah, they'll take away my temple recommend for sure. That's like, so kiss that goodbye.
Imagine a time where you get sealed in the temple with your guardian angel.
Oh man, that would be something else. I
don't even know how that could happen, if that would be allowed.
I know there would be some divine intervention there. We'll see.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for coming on our show and sharing your story. I absolutely love everything that you've been telling us.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. You helped me like even see more clearly like why this happened, and because I never really pondered it too much, but I was always in disbelief until I started seeing with my own eyes and like, okay, like this is not a coincidence. And then very elusive. It's very hard to catch up with. Yeah.
Well, good. Let's hope it remains that way until you are ready to be seen, until you're ready to reach out to him again, because make sure going forward that you have the control and he's not the one running the show.
That is very right.
It's a lot to take in.
It is a lot to take in. I feel like it opened up so many questions. I will admit, my biggest concern is this really a guardian angel, or is this a man who's presenting himself as a guardian angel?
That's where I was leaning at the beginning. I've never been to Salt Lake City. I've never been to Utah, but I do know that Brigham Young, it's Mormon Central. It's Mormon country. Just knowing that area is Mormon Central. I'm not saying that Mormons are naive or anything like that. I'm just saying that there might be people that are young, they're just going into some of the missionary stuff with the church, or they're attending Brigham Young for the first year. People that would believe, hey, I'm a clean-cut guy and I'm from the heaven and I'm your guardian angel. And if they say enough things, even some generic type thing that could just lead them to believe, oh, he does know me. He does understand. That's sort of where I am. Is this some dude that just happened to see a frightened young lady and he's trying to help her and trying to get some on the side?
I think that's the biggest mystery here. If we take away the fact that this is a real guardian angel, and if we just take that part out of the story, and then the story becomes this guy saved her, saw this happen to her, and everything else going forward, this just sounds like a horrible ex-relationship I've had. That's part of the mystery there. But there's also elements, like she said, that the way he looked, there's different things about him which were completely otherworldly and not human. So I think that's where it leaves it for ourselves and our listeners to decide for themselves.
But yes, okay, but also otherworldly to who? She may not have seen a penis before. I mean, if she seemed very dedicated about her temple or stuff that needs to happen from a religious perspective. So yeah, she may not have had a lot of experience. He could be deformed. Who knows? But just some of the things that she said about, he would disappear for a couple of days or hours at a time. And
I know I've been in relationships like that, and it wasn't with a guardian angel.
Exactly. So I think we all have experiences when at a certain age, you can see some red flags because you've been through it before.
Right.
I hope that she is able to do what's best for her. But if he does come back into her life, I'm hoping that we're able to get him on the show. I think that'd be a really interesting conversation.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Strange Lives, a Reynolds Omnimedia production. If you like what you heard, please be sure to subscribe and rate us on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere podcasts are found. To be a guest on our show, visit us online at strangelives.com. Follow us on social media at The Strange Lives and join us at patreon.com/strangelives for behind the scenes, exclusive content, and ongoing discussions about this episode and more. Be sure to tune in next week for another strange episode.